What's going on, everyone? It's Matthew Mora, and in my hands today is one of the smallest, lightest, wireless RGB mechanical keyboards I've ever held. This is the Keychron K3, an affordable, hot swappable, low profile optical, wireless mechanical keyboard that perfectly bridges the gap between productivity and gaming for me. Keychron has been around since 2017 and have built up a great reputation for creating a variety of affordable mechanical keyboards. I backed the K3 in September 2020 through their Kickstarter campaign and have been using the keyboard for the past couple of weeks in my day-to-day work, casual gaming, and video editing. I'm not an expert when it comes to mechanical keyboards, and I've used a few gaming-focused ones in the past. I actually looked at a few online before purchasing this one and saw some really nice options, but I stopped myself before I got too deep down that rabbit hole. This board is my first dive into a 75% layout, which means there are 84 keys versus your standard 101 key layout. And it's just a little smaller than the ever so popular TKL. Picture a standard keyboard minus the numpad and squishing your dedicated arrow keys and a few control keys together. This makes the keyboard very compact, portable, and gives a very clean look to any desk setup. The function keys from F7 to F12 also double as multimedia keys, which I appreciate, and I don't feel like I'm sacrificing any functionality for the small, compact form factor. I opted for the RGB backlight version with the low-profile Keychron optical blue switches for $79, but they also have a white backlight version for $69. We'll get into the RGB and switches a little later, but first, let's talk about the build quality. The K3 has a plastic bottom with rubber feet that gives the board a slight incline. The aluminum frame surrounding the keyboard gives this a very light and sturdy feel. It has some flex to it, but the aluminum frame keeps it pretty solid and seems like it'll be durable for a promising longevity. On the back side of the frame, we have a couple of orange switches. The first one allows you to toggle between Windows and Android or Mac and iOS. And the second one lets you toggle between cable mode, off, or Bluetooth mode. The keycaps used here are ABS plastic with a simplistic font that adds a clean, stylish look to the board. They're a mix of light and dark gray keycaps, and there's a pop of color with an orange escape key. By default, the keyboard comes with the Mac keycaps, but I've swapped mine out to use the included Windows options and the orange light keycap that controls the different RGB modes. You get 15 plus pre-programmed RGB options, and I'll cycle through a few of them quickly. The lighting on this keyboard isn't super bright, but the variety of pre-programmed options should keep most people happy for their RGB needs. You can adjust the brightness of the lights by using the FN plus F5 or F6 keys, and that will have a negative or positive effect on the battery life. There's a built-in 1550 mAh battery, which has an advertised working time of up to 34 hours or 2 weeks with the backlight disabled. I haven't fully tested this out yet since there are a ton of variables that would go into making this an accurate test. You can charge the keyboard with the included braided USB-C cable that's 1.2 meters long. However, I found it to be a little too short to reach my PC without spanning across my desk. This is a wireless keyboard that has a reliable connection with Bluetooth 5.1. When in Bluetooth mode, the keyboard will automatically turn off after 10 minutes of inactivity. This is meant to preserve battery life, and you can tap any key to wake the board back up. It'll take 1 or 2 seconds to wake up, so there will be a slight delay before you can start typing again. I ended up disabling the auto battery save mode by pressing FN plus S plus O for 4 seconds, since I wanted an immediate response from my keyboard. Keep in mind that this will drain your battery since the keyboard will always be on. I've gamed with the K3 connected through Bluetooth and didn't notice any latency issues, and the board stayed connected through my 2-hour-long gaming session. I'm not super competitive, but I still prefer to be wired in while gaming to eliminate any potential disconnection issues. There's a little LED beside the charging port that lights up red when the keyboard is charging, and green when it's fully charged. It'll also blink red if the battery is below 15%. I noticed this little LED shines through the F8 key and can cause a slight red or green glow if you have the backlights turned off. It is noticeable in the dark and something to look out for if you plan on using this board plugged in. I bought the K3 with the Keychron low profile blue optical switches since I love that clicky sound and thought they'd feel similar to my previous Mecha membrane keyboard. They're still clicky, but not as loud as other switches that I've used in the past. I like the feel of these blue switches, but was initially a bit nervous before buying them as I couldn't find any reviews online. As a result, I added a low profile tester set and an additional set of the Keychron low profile optical switches in white, since one of the features of this board is the hot swappable switches. Pulling the switches out with the included switch puller wasn't the easiest task in the world. The first few felt like I was going to damage the board or the switch, but you do get used to it after a while. The white switches are linear and feel much lighter than the blue switches. They're also a lot quieter and more fluid than the clicky blue switches. Speaking of sound, let's jump into a typing test. Aside from being light, portable, and affordable, one of the main selling features for me is the ability to pair this board with 3 different devices through Bluetooth. Since working from home seems like a long-term plan, I decided to finally clean my desk setup and get rid of my dual keyboard situation. I've paired the K3 up with my personal computer and my work laptop, and can easily switch between the two by hitting the FN plus 1 or 2 keys. I also pair this up with my iPad Pro as an alternative to my old flaky Apple Smart keyboard, and it works seamlessly. The keyboard works with other Apple products like MacBooks and iMacs as well. So far, this keyboard has been a great one-size-fits-all solution for me in gaming and productivity. I'm a fan of the blue switches over the whites, but that's just a personal preference. I like the feel of the tactile bump from the brown switches from the tester set I got, so I might go ahead and order a set of those to tinker and hopefully satisfy that itch of picking up a new custom mechanical keyboard hobby. Anyways, that's it for me, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one. Later days.